When the Lox conservers landed on the planet Farange, what would one day become the Farengian species was no more than mushrooms spread at the surface of this world. The Lox conservers were incredibly mighty and powerful. Their sole objective was the accumulation of knowledge and technologies. Their entire civilization was dedicated to this objective. Therefore, they had little interest for other matters, and this is when their experiment on Farange came into play. It was not the first time that the Lox conservers had advanced species from almost nothing to the stars. Every time, they chose their subjects very carefully, depending on the purpose they had planned for them. They had done so successfully in the past to supply their home planet with workers, soldiers, farmers, and many other jobs necessary to a functioning society. However, they had something new in mind for the Farengian mushrooms. They wanted them to become their traders. The galaxy was starting to become a populated place, and the Lox conservers could not ignore anymore what they could gain from trading with other civilizations. Yet, they naturally had no interest in mingling with others. It would be a diversion from their destiny. It took centuries and many intermediate steps to transform the Farengians into a civilization capable of traveling the stars by itself. Under the guidance of the Lox, the Farengians had become a Megacorp, entirely dedicated to the pursuit of profit and valuable goods. They had been taught to leave their morality aside when an acceptable margin was possible. Yet, they were also instinctively open to favor business with others. But over everything else, the Farengian Exchange Dominion was loyal to its overlords. As much as the Lox conservers were not interested in galactic politics, they did not intervene regarding the policies or the elections of the Farengian government. As long as the Exchange Dominion paid its tribute and allowed access to before unknown goods, they were free to develop themselves as they wished. Nevertheless, an all-powerful Lox fleet was always stationed on Farenge's orbit, because the task of the Exchange Dominion was too critical to let any foreign invader interfere. The Farengian religious leader, shepherded by the Lox, had decided to use their arrival on the planet as the year 0 of their calendar. Therefore, the year 801 can be considered as the start of the first trouble in what was so far a perfectly designed plan. A small fleet of ships left Farange without clearance. When hailed by the authorities, they declared themselves as separatists, who wanted a life free from the watch of the Lox. The Farengian leaders were shocked, and their first reaction was fear. Fear of a future when the planet would no longer be united towards one purpose. The intervention of the mighty Lox fleet in the system was urgently requested. All the separatist ships were destroyed in a matter of minutes, but a few of them had already had time to engage their warp drives and were now out of reach. For the Lox, such a lack of respect and honor from some of their Farengian wards could not be tolerated. The separatists, now hidden, would be outcast for their own kind and hunted until extermination. A year later, there was still no clue about the hiding place of the separatists. That was until the FS Gobbledor, a scion starship, startled the fleet in the Kerberos system. The Gobbledor did not stand a chance in this encounter and retreated. The Farengian government sent most of its attack fleets in the system and gave no chance to the separatists. Unfortunately, even if it was presented as a victory to the population, it also raised concern. The separatists had ships of Farengian origin, but not only. A great part of their ships were from an unknown origin, raising the question, how did they acquire them? The efforts of the Farengian scientists and engineers were relentless, yet they never managed to find the source of the unknown separatist ships. It was only a decade later, when the investigation was in a stalemate, that an unforeseeable event revived the search for the traitors. The FS Clegg was on a deep space exploration mission in the WAS system when she came upon what seemed to be an abandoned shipyard. Almost immediately, the Clegg was attacked by numerous ships with a firepower far beyond what its shield could withstand. She was destroyed and the crew lost. But before disappearing, they managed to send their coordinates to their home planet. This shipyard was without doubt the source of the Separatist ships, and was probably still active. The government assumed they had no choice but to eradicate them before they launched an attack on Farengian. Thank you everyone for watching and listening to this episode. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. See you soon for another episode of the Farengian Exchange Dominion on Stellaris. See ya!